Hey, can you hear me? How are you, godmother? You never let me down. You're always on. Uh-oh. Hey, Tolly. What? The possibilities are endless. Well, hello, my little intern. How are you? You're not little anymore. You're a grown-up. Can you all see my lovely Catkin? Trying to hide all my possibilities. You should hear me writing feverishly. Everybody's good? This is my line sister. She never lets me down. How are you? So glad you could join. I need y'all to give me some sun. It is snowing outside today. Snowing. And I think it's supposed to snow tomorrow, I think, as well. And I can take this off. If you can hear me, I can hear you. And look, I did something to my hair. I always get this little Michael Jackson curl. I don't know. Andy, are you okay? It just does what it wants to do. Yep, it's snowing, which means it's going to snow for you too. Hello, my former babysitter. How are you? I love, I think it was my goddaughter that actually showed me how to put emojis on, to respond to stuff. And then it was another friend who, she has an alias on social media. She actually showed me how to put the GIFs in. So I abuse them. Let me just say that. I would prefer to send a GIF or emoji as opposed to writing, because I think it accurately depicts how I'm feeling. So, all right, I'm ready. Are you ready? It's my cheerleading. All set, you bet. I hope that you all had a wonderful weekend. My apologies for not being able to vlog yesterday. Quite a few things were happening. We had quite a busy weekend. Let's see, Friday, it was the husband's birthday weekend. His birthday was actually Sunday. In our house, it's really interesting. All the males in our family have birthdays each month. So it starts with the husband, and then next Sunday in March is the babies, and then in April is big sons. And then in the fall, October is my birthday, November is the daughters. So that's kind of how things work out in our home. So we do a spinning class together, and on Friday it was trap spinning and yoga. 45 minutes of the spinning piece and 45 minutes of the yoga component. And y'all know how I feel about yoga. We talked about that a um, few vlogs back, I think. But it was fun. It was dark. Shout out to Lonnie, who teaches the trap spinning. It was a lot of fun. It was dark though, like club dark. It was too much. I couldn't see in front of me, but it was fun. And then you have to stay coordinated. They make you try to like make it rain and clap. You know, I got time for that. I'm not coordinated like that. I used to be, not like that anymore. And then it was 45 minutes yoga. Listen, I told y'all, I actually did not do anything, but the husband did. It was the husband who was smelling terrible, and he was sitting next to me. But some of those things I had to stop. Like, I can't downward dog no more. What the heck is wrong with you? I'm not built like that. I'm not built like that anymore. But it was fun. So that was Friday. Saturday, we did a lot of running around with the babies. And then Sunday was his actual birthday. What I really love about the husband is that he's very low key. So he was like, just make me dinner. I want sushi for lunch. And I want to be left alone. Works for me. So you make the announcement to the kids. Don't bother your father and let him have the big TV. Kind of like, let me have the big piece of chicken. And the daughter made him a homemade fruit tart, everything from scratch. And it was delicious. She really does have a gift. It was absolutely amazing. As a matter of fact, he finished it today. Huge tart that you could get at like a supermarket or a bakery. It was amazing. And then yesterday, he and I had to do some running around. And then the local Chick-fil-A had a free chicken sandwich from 5 to 7 p.m. So Chick-fil-A is a big deal in my house, particularly for the babies. They absolutely love Chick-fil-A. So we had to go there. And it was good. It offered us an opportunity to bond and hang out and laugh. And we were the first in line. So that should just tell you how serious we are about that chicken sandwich. I, of course, had a stupid salad. Right. Did not have a chicken sandwich. But they did. So that's fine. So that's why I couldn't hang out with you guys yesterday. So my apologies for that. I would like to talk. I have a couple of things I want to talk about, but in particular, I told you guys every time I think I want to say something, something else happens in my life. So today I want to talk about praying. And I said this, so let me give my disclaimer again for those of you that may not have any religious affiliation. I do. So no shade to anybody who doesn't, but I do. And part of my spiritual walk is to evangelize. So I am a Christian. I am a Baptist Christian specifically. I believe that God died for my sins, rose on the third day. Easter's coming, Lenten season's coming. That's what I believe. Those of you that don't, that's fine. Those of you that do, that's cool too. I'm not disrespecting anybody else's affiliation with whatever, as long as you don't disrespect mine. Because if you do, what happens, ladies and gentlemen, I will block you. One word, 2 syllables. I'll block you. So lately, I have been doing a lot of praying. And let me offer another disclaimer that what I'm about to share with you is very personal. And it is about a member of my family. And I did obtain permission to talk about this beforehand. And the subject is Big Son. So I think most of you are familiar, but if not, I'll just sort of reiterate. All of my children are adopted, all of them. The oldest child we got later in life. He was 8, almost 9, but he was 8 years old at the time. One of the things that we have struggled with, probably the one specific thing that we have constantly struggled with, is him not being truthful. Lying is what we'll call it, right? And he has been dealing with that. We have been dealing with it as a family since he was placed in our home. And it has been a real struggle in our family. So much so that it is one of the reasons that we are in therapy. to figure out what kind of tools we could use as parents to be better parents as we deal with this process. He has now, in fairness, I want to be completely honest, he was dealing with some other things as well, right? Anger, abandonment, quite a few things that we managed to get through. But this one particular issue has been ongoing for now 8 years. It'll be 16, 8 years. And it is very difficult for me, more so because I personally think that being untruthful or being a liar is probably the worst character flaw you could have. My personal belief. I don't take that from anyone else. Some people are good with lying or white lies. I just fundamentally, to my core of my belief system and my moral compass, I do not, anyone who lies to me, I feel is untrustworthy, right? And I think most of us can forgive it with children, but it's once you get older and you become an adult, it becomes clear that these are not people that you want to, in my opinion, it's not somebody I want to mess with. And it's very hard for me because he is my child and I am raising him, right? So we have really, really struggled with this. It's been a struggle. That's the only way I can say it. It really has been difficult for our family. And it's not major lies. It could be about anything, and the part that I always struggle with is that he will never, ever fess up to the lie. He'll never confess. So you have to prove to him that you know that he's lying. And that infuriates me it enrages me in a place that I can't even communicate. And what I realize is that because our son has quite a few things happening, puberty and emotional things and, the trauma of his previous life, it has been difficult. And what we've also realized is that the more that we push, the more he pulls. So it's always a tug of war between us. And the final straw for me happened maybe 6 weeks ago. He lied to me about something very, very, very minor, very minor. And I was furious. And I knew enough to scream my husband's name because I knew that if I didn't, I probably would have regretted what would have happened between us. So I stopped speaking to him. And I'm not proud of that statement. I want you to be clear. I stopped speaking to my child. And I stopped speaking to him for a month. And when I tell you I stopped speaking to him, I literally walked around my home like he wasn't even there. And as a parent, the guilt that you feel for not liking your child and resenting your child's actions, if you've never been there, it is a horrible, horrible, horrible feeling. To come to the realization that while you love your child, you may not like your child. And that was very difficult for me. Difficult not speaking to him, which got to be easier, and difficult realizing that the feelings you have for your child can be negative. And it was killing me. But I needed that space because, as most of you are aware, all the things that were happening to my family last year, I refused. I made a promise to myself that I was not going to bring all of that negative energy into 2019. I wasn't going to do it. And I needed to take care of myself. I needed to protect me and self-preserve me. Well, in that process, I I think, matter of fact, I was preparing for one of the vlogs here. I was preparing for it. And I have, it's a studio. So I have a microphone and I have equipment and it's all written down. A friend of mine who's my virtual producer, you've heard me mention him before. I had all of it written down. He actually came, we set up the studio together. I flew him in, we set it up together, and we walked through all of the stuff that I needed to do. I went looking for all of those notes. It's in a notebook. Matter of fact, this is actually the notebook. This right here. This is the notebook. And so I went looking for something in the notebook, something that I needed to, I was doing something with sound and wanted to record something. Couldn't find any of the pages, none of them. Could not find any of the instructions that we went over. Big Son had taken out every page, 20 of them, and destroyed them, had ripped them out of the notebook. And the rage that I had scared me. I was so enraged and hurt because I couldn't believe that he would do something so vengeful. Not only did he do it, but then he denied doing it. I was so beside myself that I had to leave my house. Not just leave my house, I had to go somewhere overnight. Yeah, I had to leave. I had to leave, call some friends up and say, I can't stay here. I can't be in the same space. I had to do an extra day of therapy. I was furious. And the fact that he would continue to be so dishonest and vindictive. And I already wasn't speaking to him. So for me, this was my straw on my back, that camel. The husband and I talked and I was like, listen, I can't do this. I need your help. I can't even, I can't talk to him about it because if I talk to him about it and he lies about it, it's only going to make me more furious. So I need a minute. I need to go someplace else, get some sleep, pray about it, and come back. So I did. Went to a lovely couple friends of ours' house, called them up and said, listen, I just need to be someplace overnight, and just kind of said my situation. They were like, you don't have to explain, just come. So I came and I slept and I prayed and I prayed and I cried and I slept. And I asked God, please change my son. Please change my child. Please, I cannot go through one more year like this. Please, I am begging you. Please help me because I don't know what else to do. I am grasping at straws. I have no idea how to move forward. And you gave me this child. So I know that you would not give me this child to discard him. So please, I am begging you, help me. Next day, I come home. We have the therapy session. I come home. Again, I don't really speak to him. We get to his therapy session. And again, he denies it. And not only is he denying it, then this should sound really familiar to you because there's something going on right now with a certain celebrity. Not only is he denying it, but he's arrogant in his defiance. And I couldn't take it. So I got up and I left. I got up from the session and I walked out. Husband was there, therapist was there, he was there. And the therapist was like, look, I know you did it. I think you did it. I know you did it. Still denied it. Next day, prayed some more. Prayed and prayed and prayed. Next day, the husband got up and went to talk to him and said, listen, I know you did it. I just want to know why. And he was calm, and the husband was loving, and he just was so incredibly supportive to Big Son. And Big Son said, I did it because she came to my school and embarrassed me. And he said, okay, well, that's why we go to your school. That's the whole point. The point is to go embarrass you so that you don't like being embarrassed, that you won't do it again. He said, okay, but let me ask you this. How do you feel about her not speaking to you? And he said, I don't feel good about it at all. He said, okay, but you had the opportunity to resolve this yesterday in your therapy session and you chose not to do it. How do you think that makes her feel? Does it make her feel good? He said, okay. He said, well, look, son, you're not on punishment. We love you, but you owe some people in this house some apologies, because the other piece in this is that the husband grabbed all 3 children and said, until somebody fesses up, all of you are on punishment. And so it wasn't just the fact that he lied, but he was willing to take other people down with him. This should sound familiar, right? So he first apologized to his siblings, and the daughter was like, no, I don't forgive you. I trusted you. I don't believe anything you say. And sometimes that happens, right? Sometimes you ask for forgiveness and people need to heal for what you did, because what you do, what you say, how you behave affects everybody around you. So she, forgave him a couple hours later, and then he came upstairs to talk to me. And he was sincere. He apologized. He was very remorseful. And I took a breath and I said, I do not enjoy not speaking to you. I don't enjoy not communicating with you. I don't enjoy that. I am willing to clean the slate. And from what I understand, you were concerned about me embarrassing you. I won't come to your school anymore. You get to decide from now on what kind of person you want to be. Not what I want you to be, not what your father wants you to be. You get to decide now. So I gave him back his phone. I got up, I gave him a hug. I said, let's go enjoy the day. So that day, we all had a great time. He had gift cards to buy sneakers as a Christmas gift. I gave him those. He said, well, what kind of sneakers should I get? I said, whatever pair you want. He's like, whatever I want, whatever you want. We talked about his outfits, because, his outfits, he would get angry with us about us making him eat or the kind of food. We relaxed his bedtime, everything. Last week, he had an attitude about something. It was about doing chores, because in my house, you have to have your chores done every day by Saturday by noon. Your chores have to be done, or you don't go anywhere. All your restrictions apply. Your stuff has to be done by 12 o'clock. You can do them the night before. You can get up Friday morning. I don't care. What I said to him is that you have someplace you need to go. We need to leave the house at 9:30, which means that you can either do it the night before or the day up, but it has to be done before we leave at 9:30. He was up till 11:30 the night before, didn't do what he was supposed to do, got up a little early, didn't do what he was supposed to do. So he's only allowed to have his phone on the weekends. So I said, okay, is your stuff done? He's like, no. I said, okay. We were supposed to leave. It was like 9:15, 9:20. I said, you're not showered? Your work's not done. Okay. Hand me your phone. And he gave me the phone. He's like, well, I was like, see, he's about to say something, about to be combative. I just stopped him. Listen, just like you get to make decisions, I get to make decisions too. And see, this is my phone. I paid for it. And what were the rules? What are the rules for this house? Your work has to be done by 12 o'clock. Correct. And you're not going to be here. So you knew what the rules were. You knew that your stuff needed to be done by a certain time. You chose not to do it. That's fine. But I get to make some choices too. And since I pay for the phone, you're not going to get it. Now, we come back from this event. You get your work done. You may get the phone tomorrow. or not. Completely your call. So he played himself because there was some girls there, cute girls, played himself, couldn't get any numbers. Not my problem. He was like, well, you took my phone. I said, and why did I take your phone? Because I didn't do what I was supposed to do. Yep. Because you weren't accountable for your stuff. I keep telling you, you get to decide what kind of person you want to be. A couple of days later, we started to see some tardies in some of his classes. I said, oh, hey, showed him the app that we saw. I was like, oh, listen, we're noticing that you've been late for a couple of classes. You know that there was a letter that came in a couple of days ago, and it said that after a certain number of absences, because remember he had that surgery, if you have unexcused tardies, you have to make up those. It could be detention, it could be after school, it could be summer school, whatever. Didn't argue about it, didn't ask for an explanation, literally just showed him the information. He said, well, I don't even understand why. I said, let me stop you here. Because this is what I know for certain. What I know for certain is that the bells ring in your school every day at the same time. Every single day. You know what those bells mean. You know where you're supposed to be when those bells ring. I am just merely providing information. This is just an FYI. You have options. You can either go to school and get to class on time or not. And if you don't, here are the consequences of that. You run the risk of going to summer school to make up that time, being in detention, or not graduating on time. Those are your options, son. So you can either do your part or not. Here's the moral of the story. See, I was asking for the wrong prayer. I was asking that God change my son. Truth is, what I should have been asking is that he change me. Because when I tell you that I have peace, it was my approach. So I have removed any opportunity for him to be dishonest to me, to try to provide some kind of cockamamie story that's not true, to get around the truth. I've eliminated all of that. I don't give him the opportunity. I don't question him. I don't do any of that. Because the truth is, I know he's going to lie about something else. I know that to be true. And I have resigned myself in the fact that now, when I tell you, it's been 3 weeks now, if it's such a different response between us, because I'm no longer giving him the opportunity to push back. None. We're going through something right now. He needs to look for a job. I told him, you need to have a job by your birthday, right? It's not a request. It's not a requirement. He wants to work wherever he wants to work. And I said, okay, you can do that if you'd like. However, let me tell you what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. You're going to need to get a job around our house if you want me to drop you off and pick you up. If you want another job, you're going to have to learn to take the bus, which will require you to be wherever you need to be 2 hours before and 2 hours after, because that's how long the bus will run for you. Okay. That's my response. Okay. So if you don't like the choices, you have other choices. But here are my choices. This is what I'm going to do. It's no longer a request. I'm not asking you to look for a job. You better have a job in 30 days. And that job needs to be around where I'm comfortable picking you up and dropping you off, because I'm not driving you all over the city for a job. But if you want that job, do what it takes to get it. But this is what I'm going to do, and it's not negotiable. I have so much peace. I really do feel like now that I have control, because for the last year and a half, I didn't have any. I felt like my feelings, my emotions, everything was out of whack, because what I realized is that I was forcing him to be the person that I wanted him to be. And he's going to have to figure it out for himself. And I got to be okay with that. And I am. For the first time, in years. I have to realize that God gave me this child, and that he's not an image of me or what I want him to be. He's got to be what God intended him to be. And that may not be the path that I want for him. And I got to be okay with that. And I have peace for the first time in a long time. And the sad part is, he doesn't know what to do with it. Because we're not arguing, because he likes to dance. Because we're not arguing, because we're not pushing and pulling, because I'm not combative, because I smile, because I say no and just shake my head and walk away, or because I say, no, that's what it is, go do it. We don't have any problems. And it's killing him. So on some petty levels, I'm good with that too. Because what I realized is that he was taking all of my control away. And I got too much to offer to the rest of my family for him to do that. So you should ask God like I do. Instead of asking him to do something for me, just ask him. What I now ask is that your will is already done. Just show me what I'm supposed to do. If you can do that for me, I'm okay. That's what I needed to learn in this lesson. That's what I learned. Show me what I'm supposed to do. Lead me, because I can't worry about everybody else, even though that's my child and he's a minor. Show me what I'm supposed to do. Make it plain for me, because I don't do subliminal well. And I will be obedient. So there it is, people. I was asking for the wrong stuff, praying for the wrong stuff, asking baby Jesus in the manger for the wrong things. I should have asked him to fix me, not fix him. And he did. So a little longer today. I had to get it out. So I hope all of you have a wonderful week. I look forward to vlogging with you again next week. All right, take care. Happy week. I hope, anyway. And have yourself a little Jesus. Okay, talk to you soon. Promise. Mwah, 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 mwah. And somehow I have to figure out how to end this video, because I'm right-handed. And this mic is in the way. Have a good day, y'all.